Imagine spending hours reading a book and the next day your mind is blank. Frustrating. But what I'm going to tell you today can turn that situation around forever. What most people don't know is that your brain isn't designed to remember everything. On the contrary, it's designed to forget. And that means much of your hard work is lost in a matter of hours. Now I ask you, did you know that after studying, in less than a day, you can lose up to 70% of what you've learned? And in a week, more than 90%. Terrible. But here's the good news. There's a psychological trick that changes everything. And I'm warning you. This trick isn't about memorizing like a robot. It's not about endlessly repeating. It's not about staying up all night with coffee. It's something much simpler and much more powerful. Imagine for a moment that your memory works like a social network. What you repeat, what moves you, what surprises you, that's what sticks. Everything else is erased as if it never existed. So the key is to trick your brain into marking what's important as a viral. This is where the first technique comes in. It's called spacing. Instead of rereading the same topic 5 times a day, you study it once today. Then tomorrow. Then in 3 days. Then in a week. And then in a month. What happens? Your brain detects the pattern and stores it as vital information. But that's not enough. Because the second part is even more crucial. It's called active retrieval. It involves forcing yourself to remember without looking. Ask yourself, what did that definition say? How was that process explained? Make the mental effort to recall it. That neuronal tension is what fixes the memory. Let me make it simple with an example. Remember when you were trying to remember the name of a song and it was on the tip of your tongue? And suddenly, after a few seconds of tension, boom! It pops into your head. That effort is exactly what strengthens the connection. It's like lifting weights, but with your neurons. But wait, because that's not the most shocking part. What comes next is the golden nugget I promised you at the beginning. And when you hear it, you'll understand why many students fail without knowing it. The hidden trick is this: don't always study in the same place or at the same time. Your brain needs a variety of contexts. If you memorize in different spaces, with different stimuli, you create multiple routes to access the same information. And that increases your ability to remember it. Science has proven it. One group of students always reviewed in the same room. Another group did so in different spaces. The second group remembered up to twice as much information. Why? Because every context acts as a cue for your brain. Now imagine combining spacing, active retrieval, and context switching. 3 techniques that together turn your mind into a true memory machine. And the most incredible thing is that they don't require more hours. Just strategy. Think about this. When you study for an exam, the normal thing is to lock yourself in your room. But what would happen if one day you studied in the library, another in a park, and another day simply standing in your living room? Your brain registers not only the information, but also the place, the sounds, even the smells. More anchors. More memory. And here's another secret. Add excitement to your studying. Yes, excitement. The brain doesn't remember boring things. It remembers impactful things. That's why you remember an accident or a song from your childhood, but not the subject you memorized 2 days ago. Emotion is the glue of memory. So, how do you apply it to your studies? Easy. Turn information into stories. Use metaphors. Relate what you learn to things that matter to you. If you're studying biology, imagine cells as a city full of workers. If you're studying history, visualize the characters as the protagonists of a series. Your brain loves stories. But before we go any further, let me ask you something. Have you ever realized that you easily remember lines from movies, but struggle with a concept from a book? Now you know why. The difference lies in the emotion and the context. And don't forget this, memory isn't a drawer where you store things. It's more like a network of paths. Every time you review, every time you retrieve, every time you change places, you create new routes. And the more routes, the easier it is to return to your destination. What you've just discovered is a superpower that puts you ahead of 90% of other students. While they burn out studying longer hours, you learn to study less, but smarter. And that's the difference between mediocrity and excellence. Now think about what would happen if you used this not only to study, but also to learn a language, to memorize presentations, to remember names. Your entire life would be transformed. Because memory isn't a gift. It's a skill you can train. And here's a bonus. Sleep is part of studying. Yes, sleep. When you sleep, your brain reorganizes information and decides what to store and what to discard. Skipping sleep after studying is like writing in the sand and letting the tide wash it away. In short, if you want to remember everything you study, it's not about studying more. It's about using strategy, spacing, active recall, context switching, emotion, sleep. With these elements, your mind becomes a memory machine. And this is just the beginning. If you want more mind hacks, subscribe now, because what's coming in the next mind hack videos is even more shocking. Tell me in the comments. Which of these tricks are you going to try first? And also, what's your biggest struggle when studying? We'll help you with more content designed just for you. What you've just learned puts you at an advantage over almost everyone else. Take advantage of it. Don't let it remain just theory. Apply it today. See you in the next mind trick video. And remember, your mind has much more power than you imagine.